Hello and welcome. My name is Risa Eldon, and I'm the head of community here at Houzz Pro. Super thrilled to be joined by Lina Campbell of Lina Designs, who is going to walk us through how she leverages Houzz Pro to really truly run her business. And we'll also be offering up some creative tips and tricks that we hope you can implement in your business to become more efficient and more profitable. We'll kind of run through Lina's workflow, ranging from lead management to sourcing and client presentation, invoicing, and linking to QuickBooks. And I am just super thrilled to show you all our platform, Houzz Pro, which offers an end-to-end solution that really truly empowers home remodeling and design professionals to stand out, win more clients, and manage your projects more efficiently and profitably. So thank you so much, Lina, for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. So I'm Lina Campbell, Chief Design Officer of Lina Designs, which is a boutique design firm based in Atlanta, Georgia. We focus mostly on the residential space, and we have included some commercial projects in our portfolio as well. I have been a full-time interior designer now for about a year. I, straddled the fence between corporate America and being an entrepreneur for a while now, but I just finally made the leap during the pandemic to jump over to be a full entrepreneur. We have dug our feet in the business, and it's been really booming and taking off. People are looking in their homes and looking around and saying, "Oh, my space is ugly. I need someone to help." So we're here to help. And one thing I did do in the beginning is I signed up for Houzz Pro from day one. So my business has been managed through this platform and through this tool from day one. And I think that may be the best thing I've done to get my business started, to propel it, to keep it organized, and to keep that streamline functionality going. So, this has been a lifesaver, a lifeline for me in my business to continue to daily operate in an organized fashion. So hats off to the product creators and whoever thought to create the product and to continue to iterate and enhance the product. I use it for multiple usages and interacting with my clients on a day-to-day basis, whether it be proposals, dashboards, mood boards, accepting client payments. It also helps my accountant to keep me on task with connecting to QuickBooks. So, it's really services a lot of our day-to-day needs.
That's so awesome to hear, and so glad that you finally felt this time was the right time to make the move, because I know it can be hard straddling between two things. And if you have your administrative piece of your business properly set up and organized, it makes it much easier to make that leap of faith. And I know from conversations, obviously everybody, it was challenging in the beginning to figure things out. And now that you've got your system, you've got your organization, you're kind of rocking and rolling, and we love to hear that. So thank you so much, Lina, and thank you for being willing to share your story and your experience with us today. So I want to get started a little bit and talk kind of actually through your work, though. And for just to let you all know today who are joining us, this is not Lina's actual account. It's a demo account. So bear with us. It doesn't reflect her designs or anything like that. Just a demo account to protect her clients. And so we will be running through kind of top to bottom, leads coming into client presentation, mood boards, room boards, our 3D floor planner, kind of run through it all. But we want to make sure, obviously, we're just scratching the surface. There's so much to be told. Let's start off with a lead. When a lead comes in, or you have a lead, you're creating a lead, what does that process look like for you?
So in the tool, it gives you leads here, and you can manage your leads. So I go in here, I'm getting an influx of leads coming through from the Houzz site. So I can go in here and see, what's the status of those? Are there any new ones? Is there anything that I need to follow up with? And it really gives you a good snapshot into what needs to happen. What's your next action item? I had a phone call from this number. Let me go into that number and see what's going on. With this particular client, I need to action them in some kind of manner, whether it's an email or a phone call. I need to reach out to this client. So there's no client email here. I can go in and add it once I call them. I can call this number and just have a general conversation and add the call here talk about what happened so that I can keep that notated, and I can always reference back if need be on what was discussed, what the client's needs are. One feature I do like is when they call in to Houzz, or when the dialer calls me, they've already asked a series of questions and they've notated some of the things of budget, what they're trying to accomplish. So when the lead comes to me, I have a good gist of what's going on. Once that lead, and I've spoken to that lead and I understand that it's a viable option and something that we're going to move forward with, like the client is ready to go and wants to see a proposal, wants to move on, I can take this lead and convert it to a project here. And it's going to convert it on into one of my active projects. And now I can begin to really action on this particular client, whether it's a proposal or an invoice, creating their room boards. All of that is I'm able to do that here.
Great. One thing I did want to ask you back just about leads is, do you leverage the Snooze feature? So let's say in the pandemic, in the beginning, obviously maybe clients were reaching out and then they were wanting to put projects on hold or they weren't so sure. Do you use that Snooze feature? Because I think it's really great. You don't have to manually put time on your calendar that says, follow up with Risa, she wants to wait 30 days. Whereas if you use that Snooze feature, it will pop back into your inbox. Is that something that you're using?
Yes, because everyone's not ready to go. Some people just need general information or their project is 6 months out. So I'm able to snooze them and not lose them. But, it comes back into my inbox and I say, okay, let me reach back out. Based upon our conversation, they said they were 6 months out. So let's set something for 3 months out and reach back out and touch base.
Got it. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about is that Gmail integration. Whereas, like, if you're not marketing with Houzz, you can still leverage your contacts and you can still integrate your Gmail, so you don't have to manually import each lead. Of course, you can do that if you want to. You can drop in that CSV file. So if you have leads coming from other places, you can totally still leverage the CRM system to manage your business and convert them to a project.
Yes, you can. Mm-hmm.
Great. So talk me through, now that you've created this project, again, and we know this is a dummy account, so not necessarily, you might put more information in before you get to this phase,
right.
But talk to me a little bit about what you use here, how you look at your financials, how you use the project tracker, how you share that client dashboard, and also potentially you use the Clipper and the tear sheets to really wow your clients and seal the deal.
Yeah, so here, of course, I want to put in the general information. What's their contact information? What's the address? Who am I emailing? Is there more than one person that I'm emailing? Is it a husband and wife couple that wants to receive all communications? I can add that in there. I do like to give them a visual. If they're a contemporary project, I go snag a picture, put it in there so they see a visual when they get their project. And you can do that in here when you're editing their information. I do like to put budget information. How much are we looking to spend for this project? If they already have determined a project budget in their mind, it's good for me to work off of that. Adding a photo. What is the scope of the project? Here I can create my room. So if we're doing a dining room, an owner's suite, a secondary bedroom, I can go ahead and create those rooms here. Therefore, they populate into the dashboard. I can go in here and say they want a full service design package, meaning I'm doing the designing, the procuring, the logistics, the vendor sourcing, and we're installing. So I can go in here and notate, this is a full service design client. Any other notes? Do they hate the color red? Or do they, what's their design aesthetic? I can put those notes in here and it's housed here. Go here and save the project. Let's put that in there. Let's take that out. Okay. Let's save this project. So let's give them a name.
Perfect.
And so here, now that I've talked to Jane and she's told me a couple of rooms that she wants to design, it's now fair for me to say, okay, Jane, let me put together a proposal for you. And so what my design fee consist of. And, you know, everyone charges differently. But in here, I have, I'll go in here and say designer fee, installation.
Great.
Mhm. And populate those in here. One cute little thing that I do, I have my picture saved. So, you know, they always have a face to put with a fee so they know who's charging them.
Oh,
But
I love that.
so I go in here and put in, you know, what is the description of the services? So with your designer fee, what does that include? I put the design, the procurement, vendor sourcing, vendor management. In the installation fee, I'm putting in, you know, that includes delivery, that includes assembly, hanging fixtures, that includes trash removal. So they understand what that fee and what they're getting with the fee. So I put those things in there, assign a tax setting. And just to go a step beyond, in the memo field, I am putting in for the client, you know, if we're doing the owner suite,
Yep.
what is it that they need in there? We're talking about a king bed, bedside tables, lamps, bedding, rugs, textiles, window treatments. I'm detailing that out so they know what to expect on what we're purchasing for that room. I
Okay.
also kind of put some of the terms of, you know, the fees in there and project installation, projected time frame, and I reference my agreement for them to sign.
Got it.
Mhm. So in that proposal, and then I'm assigning, you know, what percentage of the design fee is due at, you know, time of service. That lets them know that we're requiring, you know, that much up front. And then it pushes out when is that last payment due. And everyone's going to charge differently. So this is just something to, you know, what I do. I save that. I'm going to assign a tax here.
And I like how you're leveraging and utilizing your product library that you've already created with those services. So once you clip a product or once you add a service, like you said, it has your face and whatever. And here you can see in this dummy account, she had put in like a little handy
Yeah.
services or whatever that little icon is. You can really personalize the proposal and make it feel like the presentation that your client is receiving is customized to them.
Mhm.
Again, your goal, because you're not only a designer, but you're a businesswoman, you're a salesperson, you have wear a lot of hats, is to
Absolutely.
help the client see it, understand it,
Absolutely.
pay you online, and the money goes into your account and move that process along faster. So I really like how obviously we're not looking at your specific account, but you really customize that and you have that client presentation down, so that you're not wasting any money and time, because time is money, right?
Absolutely, it is. I love the customization feature, feeling like it's my business by adding, you know, my logo here and, you know, business information. It really kind of legitimizes your business as a small business owner. Sometimes you're struggling with, I don't have the brand recognition, or I'm using a product. How do I get my brand out there? And I think, you know, Houzz Pro does a great job of letting designers showcase their brand through the tool.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Love that. And then, oh, I was going to ask you, when you clip products, so do you use a product clipper to clip products? Can you show us how
I
you do
do.
that?
So I do. Let me show you here. I go to one of the, you know, if I'm looking for, let's say I'm looking for an accent chair or a dining room table here. And
Okay.
if you see this little leaf icon, that is the clipper tool. This icon is magical, and it saves so much time. I want to select this marble table here. So when I hover over the object, the picture is going to give you the ability to click into the clipper, and it's going to start to populate that information for me. So you
Great.
have the pictures coming up. I can go in here, you know, use nice stock images, an image with dimensions on here, and, you know, really put it in there so that the client has a great visual. I can clip the product title. Sometimes you want them to have the whole title, sometimes you don't. They're Googleable. Sometimes they can Google things. So just adjust for your business if you want your clients Googling and finding them.
Well,
Uh,
exactly. And you can, like you said, there's a place, because we understand designers' workflow, where you can put the product title that you want your client to see, but internally for your vendor, you can have that vendor title show up.
Exactly, exactly. So here I want to put in, you know, what's the cost for me? My cost is this, and I'm going to add a markup to that, and I'm going to see, is that markup good enough? and it'll calculate it for me. If I had the retail price in there, I could put the retail price in there, but I can see, okay, I'll make $300 off this table. So I'm going to set it at that. Here I put in, what is this? This is a piece of furniture. My vendor, and this is actually going to my real thing. So we'll play with that. And then I can select the project and I can select the room based upon the room boards that I've already assigned to this particular client.
Great.
Any additional details that I want to add in here, if I want to put manufacturer, the SKU number, dimensions, finish color, all of that information can be put in here. Any internal notes that I want to put in here. Side note, this is going to be a freight delivery. It may incur a freight charge. I can put that in there. And that is now in that room, in that project on the dashboard. It's also there for me to be able to use with other clients. So if I like that same marble table for another project, I can pull it in. I can adjust the markup if I need to. And the product there is there and it lives in my product library once it's added that one time.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So it really does save your time, because I have seen a lot of designers that have screenshots across their desktop, and then they're trying to source that and find that. And what I think is really nice here, Lina, I don't know if you use it for this feature, but let's say you use a Benjamin Moore white dove color, right? Or you use a toilet, and that's the same toilet that you use all the time. Stuff that you use all the time, you can save. You don't have to then create. Obviously, every time you actually put it onto a proposal for a client, you should double check the pricing, because we know right now there's a lot of pricing fluctuations.
Yeah.
So
and
I do think
availability as well.
Mm-hmm. Of course. And those, but the idea of the saving time from the clipping, putting in all the product information, to just putting it on a secondary proposal for a different client. Again, toilet, something that's like very much the same that you use, or you have a wall-mounted toilet or a plumbing fixture, whatever it may be. So that's what I love about this, is that you don't have to just be an interior designer. You can be a kitchen and bath designer. Even if you don't specify products and you don't charge a purchase fee or markup on products, you can still leverage this tool to put together that spec book for your builder, for your designer, for your architect, however way you're running your business and however you're making money. I think there's a lot of different workflows, but I'm so enjoying watching you kind of walk us through your process. And it also seems like this is something super easy to train an assistant, a team member on, where you just pop in and you can really, it's intuitive and it kind of gets you and how you work. So show us, sorry, keep going on, because I want to understand how you take payment from your client, and if you add any sort of attachments when you send this to your client.
So I do add an attachment. I have my Lina design agreement, and that just spells out my T's and C's, my legal language for my clients. So what I do is add that attachment to my proposals. So they're getting my proposal along with the design agreement, and I'm sending that out to them. And it's easy to send proposal. You can put on here, who you want it to go to, BCC. You can change the subject line, and they have some generic templates that you can use in here. You can check the box on what kind of proposal type it is. Is it, do you want just to take deposits, or do you want to allow for approval? Payment options here. Do you want to incur the fees, or do you want to pass those fees along to your clients? So you check those options, send it off. It gives you a great preview pane into what the client will see when they get it. Once they get it, and I love this, it's a little Big Brother-ish, but as soon as they open my my proposal, I can see. So I can see a client is engaged. They've opened it. They've gotten the news on how much I'm charging. And now I can either follow up or give them some time to respond to me and say, I got your proposal. Let me chat with you about some, just to get some clarifying questions or whatever they may need to talk through around the proposal. On that proposal, they can pay to let them put in their credit card payment or their banking information, ACH or a credit card. And once they have paid, I do get an alert that the client is paid, and you will be able to see the payment details here. Okay. If they paid by check or not check, banking, ACH or by credit card, it'll tell you the amount, it'll tell you the date, and in some instances, with the ACH, it gives you a time frame of it takes a little bit longer for ACH to settle. You can go back in a day or two and check, has this fully settled yet? So that payment information is on there. It's very easy to use for the payments for the clients. They like being able to have a one-stop shop, proposal here, payment gateway here, and it's done.
Got it.
Now,
And so you're
Mhm.
using the online payment, and then what happens with your QuickBooks integration? Because you did say you are integrating with QuickBooks as well.
I am integrated with QuickBooks. Anytime there's a payment, anytime there's an invoice that is duly notated in QuickBooks, it flows over automatically. All of the transactions are flowing over, um, and you see those deposits coming through, and they're labeled via Ivy. You may have to, if you get multiple payments on the same day or within the same day, you may have to sparse them out via QuickBooks, but it's easy to do. And QuickBooks is tracking the project name, so it's easy to find those matches.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. Okay, so you talked to us a little bit about, we talked about online payments, product sourcing, lead management. Talk to us a little bit about what the visual tools and the presentations are that you use with your clients. So in terms of your 3D floor plans and your room boards and your mood boards, how do those really help you seal the deal with your client and minimize the back and forth between your client? Because I think that's where designers lose money, and it's the not fun part of like,
Yeah.
okay, here's the presentation. Okay, what do you want to pick? Because I know we didn't mention this, but when you're sending over that proposal, you do have the ability to approve or decline for your client to approve or decline a line item, which I think clients find helpful, you find helpful. Sometimes designers want to use it, sometimes designers don't want to use it. It really depends on the client, because then
Yep.
that could create
You got to
more
know
back
your
and forth.
client.
Yeah, and talk to us about, like, do you share the client dashboard with your client? How does that work?
Yeah, so after proposal, we move into now the design phase. And once I've made the room boards, and so now I'm going to start designing room by room. And what I like to do for my clients is give them some options. Some clients you have to give them one, because people overthink at times, and too many decisions gets it jumbled for them. So I create the rooms. I go and select different items for the rooms. Okay, oh, this is a nice coffee table. I like this, or I don't like this. They like this one, so this is approved. They didn't like the pillow as much, so they declined that pillow. And what I tell my clients is this is not the end all be all. I like for them to approve or decline based upon in the first phase, just based upon like or dislike. This is my style, this is not my style. We have the ability to undo, right? And redo if we need to. We can display quantities as well as price here. We can give them, they have a view as well. They don't see all of this that we see, but they do have a view to see details that we want to share on the product. So those details are in there, those products are in there, and the client has now the ability to go in and see, okay, I like this or I don't like this. If they can't determine from just products in here where the design is going, what I like to do is create a mood board for them. Our superpower as designers is we can see the end before we even arrive at the finished product. And we're visionaries, right? We can see it. We know how the colors will blend, the textures, the patterns, but our clients don't always see that. So sometimes we need to create that vision for them. And it's through a mood board or a room, a 3D floor plan. So I like to do a mood board here. We've put things together. And again, this is not my design. But over here kind of helps them see what is the color story, what paint colors are we using here, what sofas, what we have, coffee tables in here, we have some florals in here. In here we've created a 3D room board that shows them what the layout of the room will be. So that kind of helps to help that client visualize what's going on in this room, how are the items going to fold together, what do they look like. And if they just want to see, from a schematic point of view, what is the 3D floor plan? Like I always wanted XYZ in a room, but I don't know what that looks like. Tell me how you're going to fit a king size bed, a dresser, 2 night tables, and a mirror in this room. So we can, the 3D floor plans, all of us would love to have these CAD, HGTV, high-end programs, but one, how much they cost, and two, do we have the time to do that? This gives me the opportunity to, put in room dimensions and then add some things in there. If I need to add a door, if I need to add a window just to kind of mirror what the client has, I can drag and drop that in there.
Great.
And they can see, okay, I do see the window in here, and you give them different views of how they can see it. I like this because you can turn it into a dollhouse view. Now they can see into it, or you can do a walkthrough and you can actually kind of rotate in the room and give them a different view of that. So these tools are super helpful for those that can't see the vision as you're talking about it or can't put it together in their minds when they're looking at the dashboard. This just goes another step for them to be able to say, oh, okay, now it makes sense. So these are great tools for you to leverage as a designer, just to give that extra oomph to your clients.
That totally makes sense. And for somebody like me who's not a designer, kind of helps me see that space. And I think for me, once I would see this, then it would be easier for me as a potential client to be like, okay, I'm going to pay $20,000 for this room because I see the vision, I see it at the end of the day, and I trust you. And I have this amazing tool that allows me to see that. And like you said, when we talked about in the beginning, saving time on all the administrative stuff and the design process and the logistical stuff will help you make more money. And you are a businesswoman, and you're a very great, savvy businesswoman. So as much time as you can save on the logistical administrative piece of the design, that will inevitably make you more money.
Absolutely.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so we talked about client presentation, 3D floor plans, the visualization tool, client, a lot of different tools that you're all kind of sticking in one place. And like you said, you're not going outside, you don't have a bunch of different tools to be able to send the client the information. We also talked about how you can share the dashboard with your client. What was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about? There was one other thing. Oh, I know. And I think that this is really important. I just wanted to briefly cover purchase orders and sending your POs over to your vendors. And I know, for one, because I have a lot of relationships with some great vendors, that they get these emails that are disorganized from designers, and they're all over the place, and the wrong product ships. I think what is so nice here is that when you create that product and you create that item, it also creates that PO that you can send over to your vendor. So you have good conversations and good communication with your vendor. Your vendor thinks you're a professional. What does that mean? You can get better discounts. It just keeps spiraling in a good way. And I think that that's really helpful for you to have that sense of professionalism with your vendors as well, correct?
Absolutely. So you're adding in your vendors, you're adding in the correspondence information to communicate with them, and this is a great feature and great tool to have. A lot of my vendors have a different way of interacting with them. For those that don't, this is a great and added benefit to be able to create those POs and send it over there to them so they can get your order and get it managed properly. Everyone loves another step of organization these days. And so I think this just goes the extra mile to help that relationship with your vendor and to grow that relationship and to make sure everything is kind of clean and cut and it's recorded on your end as well as their end.
Great. I love that. And then wanted to wrap with obviously understanding your numbers. Like you said, you came from corporate America, from Wall Street. How has Houzz Pro really helped you be able to visualize and understand your numbers with our reporting and with your integration with QuickBooks so that you can really maintain a healthy gross profit margin and understand that you're making money, and where you need to bump numbers, you can bump numbers if you need to. I loved when you talked about that little big brother thing where you could see if somebody was looking at your invoice, but there's also at the bottom of your proposal before you send it out, there's a little eyeball where you can see how much money am I making overall on this proposal before I send it out. So talk to me a little bit about understanding your numbers.
Yeah. So, before I send an invoice, I want to see, okay, where is my profit margin? And I'm going to see if they have it in here on invoices. But on invoices, it will tell you at the top, like once you generate that invoice based upon your markup that you've put on each item, it will tell you what's your profit on this particular invoice. And I'm very keen to that. I charge in two different ways. I charge a design fee, plus I use a markup. So I need to make sure that I'm hitting those numbers. If you look at markup revenue here, right? out of this invoice that I sent them, this is the amount that I made on the markup. And it's important to you as a business. You want to make sure that you are remaining profitable and that you do have that level of profit margin in there. So this is always a key indicator for me that I'm on the right side of of being profitable. Looking at this is imperative.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Awesome.
And other ways, Risa, is, just looking at the reporting tools, and in the way that your system integrates with QuickBooks. If I need to go get a P&L statement, the information that Houzz is feeding into QuickBooks helps me run a really comprehensive statement, of course, along with my banking institution, on cost of goods sold versus business expenses versus outstanding invoices that haven't been paid, what invoices are we're expecting a future payment on. It really helps to manage those day-to-day things on forecasted incomes, or are we in the red, or did we spend out more money than we brought in this month. So it's very vitally important to stay abreast of the reports and to use that QuickBook integration to get a good financial picture.
I love that. Numbers make me happy. and really, like, at the end of the day, you can see, like, is it profitable for me to be doing procurement, or what do I need to cut? This is a great time to set your 2021 goals and understand where you need to cut, where you need to add, where you need to hire, where you need to delegate. And I love that you can see that and get a perspective of your business through those metrics and through those reports.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that, because doing reconciliation, I looked at how much money we spent on renting a U-Haul to go do installations, and it makes business sense now to buy a vehicle because we've spent so much money on U-Haul. And I'm like, look, we're doing an installation, at least some kind of form of installation every week. And so now the business decision is supported by the details and the numbers of what we've spent.
I love that. I love that. Mm-hmm. Nothing makes me happier. And that's kind of, the experience that we're trying to give you guys, you professional, like designers, builders, kitchen and bath designers, whatever type of designer you are, or home remodeling expert. We want to give you the power to make more money and be able to leverage technology in a way that makes sense for your business. And like I said, Houzz Pro is helping thousands of pros like yourself really increase their profit and deliver that super professional client experience. So I'm so grateful for you sharing your experience with us today and walking through your workflow. I hope that others have found this helpful, and we'd love to hear from you, all that are watching with us today, and share more about how you can really implement Houzz Pro into your business. So thank you, Lina, for joining us today, and we'll see you all soon.
All right.
Bye now.